Welcome to Something Suddenly Came Up, a retro review. I'm Leann, and this is my real life big sis, the Groovy Granny. And as always, we're going to bring you all things retro 60s, 70s, and 80s pop culture, TV, movies, candy, snacks, anything fun and festive we remember from our childhood. And Groovy Granny, tell the folks at home what we're talking about today.
Well, today we are going to do a little bit of a deep dive into probably a show that everybody loves, and that is the Carol Burnett Show. The
Oh
Carol
boy, was
Burnett,
this hard.
oh,
This
this was
was
super
hard.
hard. So we had initially said like our five favorite moments of like the Carol Burnett Show. I had such a tough time with that. So I sort of broke it down to my five favorite regular skits that they did. And then we can deep dive that a little bit. But the Carol Burnett Show, for a variety show, went on
Mhm.
for 11 years.
Oh my gosh. And like you said, really the first couple seasons, especially, it was a real variety show. There was
Yes.
singing, dancing, some kind of performances beyond the comedy and the sketches. So I
Yes.
have to admit, although it was amazing, I kind of really liked the later seasons
I
because
do
it's
too.
more comedic sketches.
Yes. And the addition of Tim Conway
Oh,
as a
come on.
regular. But
Yeah,
believe it or not, that did not happen till season 9.
I
Now,
can believe
obviously,
that.
he was a guest star a lot, but he didn't become an actual regular till season 9. And it started in 1967.
Yeah, I can believe that. It spans,
Yeah.
I think, all, didn't it, did they go into the 80s? No. Oh no,
No,
for
the
11 years it would be 78. Yeah. Yeah.
78 was the last year. Yeah.
Yeah. But it seems like
That's
they're
a
still trying to,
long time for a variety show.
and
I
to
mean,
come up with sketches.
yes, and to stay so funny and good.
Yeah.
You can't really include it in the same thing as like the Ed Sullivan show being a variety show because
Right.
his whole thing was introducing acts and there was not a lot of the comedy and stuff like that. So yeah, her writers must have been brilliant. That's all I can
I
say.
I feel like we could do a whole episode on just a specific skit, honestly. I
Oh
had
yeah,
the hardest time. I could barely focus. I started going through and refreshing myself, and I'd go
me
down a
too.
rabbit hole watching stuff.
Too.
So I just remember, and I think a lot of our themes come back to this, is that it's such a part of our childhood growing up. Our
Yes.
mom watched it, and her best friend Liz would come over and watch it. And it was such a part of that, I believe Saturday night. What night of the week
Right.
was it on? Yeah. I
I
know.
think it was most of the time, like, a lot of the shows that I think were the Saturday night lineup did flip around a little bit, but I think it pretty consistently was the Saturday night lineup.
Because I remember watching it when Liz would come over. And Liz, if you're watching, we love you, girl.
We love you,
Um,
Liz.
she's such a strong part of our childhood and all our
Oh,
happy
yes.
memories. But I remember Mom and Liz watching that show, and I was little because I was born in 71, so I was little, but I remember quite a bit of it. Um,
Yes.
but yeah, I have some very standout memories that, yeah, they're coming at you.
So shall I dive into
Please,
my
let's
one? I put it
go.
5, but they could all
Oh
be
my,
one. Let's be real.
I can't even.
So one of my favorite parts, and this is interesting because, well, let me tell you what it is. It's when they
Okay.
would do movie and TV spoofs.
Oh, I love it. The Late Late Show or the old movie.
Yes, yes. And honestly, I did not know, I was pretty young too when I was watching it, that a lot of the old movie spoofs they were doing were like real movies. And
Yeah,
so when I often saw the real movie after a Carol Burnett spoof,
yeah.
which made it even funnier when you realized how crazy and realistic to the movie it really was. I
Uh,
mean, I wrote
Agreed.
a couple down. I mean,
Yeah.
of course, the quintessential one is Went with the Wind,
Yes.
which, was
Oh,
of Gone with the Wind.
Yes.
And
Oh
the
my God.
amazing costume designer, Bob
Rob
Mackey,
Mackey. What a gem.
put
Oh my
together
God.
the most amazing, when she comes down the stairs wearing the curtain rod.
Oh. Well, for those of you at home that aren't versed in classic movies and Gone with the Wind, I think because of the war, Scarlett couldn't get beautiful cloth or whatever, so she takes the velvet drapes and makes a beautiful gown. And so Carol does the same thing, but she leaves the curtain rod. And what does she say, Di? I saw it in the window and I just had to have it.
Oh my God.
And
Yes.
Harvey as Clark Gable was like, Scarlett, oh my God, he's so
He
good.
had it down. Harvey was just so great at those old movie actor impersonations that he did.
Yes.
And yeah, and Vicky as Bestie, she was
Yeah.
funny.
Oh my gosh. Just
But
the concept.
that's a classic. And then
Yeah.
they would do like the Hitchcock movies, like they did Rebecca, but they called it
Yes.
Rebecca.
Rebecca. Yes. Oh my God. That is this. I just want to say this is on my list too. I'm looking at where it was because one of my standouts as a kid, amidst all those great ones they did, was Rebecca. And I don't know why, but that always really stood out for me. Harvey playing Laurence Olivier, he does
Yes.
it so well. And then Vicky as Mrs. Danvers, where she just keeps
Yes.
popping
Perfect.
up. And the music's always like boom, boom, boom when Vicky pops up, and she pops up every second. So it's always like, and her head comes out of the serving platter in the middle of the table, and
Oh
it's like, bum,
yes.
bum,
Oh
bum.
my gosh.
And then Carol just plays that simpering. She takes the Joan Fontaine shy girl and makes her just this simpering kind of,
Yes.
oh God, it's funny. Such a good thing. But it does really give you a taste of the movie. I
It
mean, it's a
does.
spoof, but they're not super far off from the characters.
Yeah.
Laurence
And
Olivier always
they
very,
would, yeah, they would change the name a little bit
oh
too.
yes,
And
yes,
I know recently, over the last few years, there was, um, I didn't realize that one of the movies they had done was The Heiress, who was Olivia de Havilland, I believe.
yes,
And I
yes,
had watched that for the first time just a few years ago. And I was like, oh my God, they did this one on the Carol Burnett Show.
yes, yes, yes. That's
Oh.
exactly right. And then what is the definite? Oh my gosh. Um oh, Norma Desmond, of course. Sunset
Oh, yes.
Boulevard.
I have Norma separate because they
Oh,
kind of took that movie spoof and repeated it, over and
they
over.
made her like a
They
reoccurring
made her a
character, kind of.
character. Yeah.
Yeah. And like another great moment by Harvey being isn't his name Werner von Stroheim, I think.
Max.
So, yes,
Yeah.
yes, madam. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh, so good. That was, like I said, those were on my list, but that was like my number two.
Okay.
Those
Yeah.
late,
Because I
late
did
movies.
love those too.
Oh
Yes.
my gosh, love
So what
them.
did you put down at 5?
Oh, my number five. See, I did it a little bit different. I really did. It kind of is skit based, but it's kind of went by my memories. And so everybody now would probably be more apt to know it. It was just called The Family, I believe,
Oh,
but
yes.
Mama's Family spun off from it, which I didn't really care for
No,
Mama's
me
Family, the
either.
TV
It
show.
was too over the top.
Right. But the family consists of Carol as Eunice, and her husband Ed is played by Harvey. And of course, Vicky plays Mother Harper. Um,
Yes.
and then Tim Conway plays that reoccurring part of Mickey Hart, who works
Yes.
at Ed's hardware store. And for whatever reason, I just love Mickey Hart. There's an episode where they go to Mickey Hart's house because it's his fifth anniversary working at Ed's store. And
Yes.
there's something about the family that is a little bit annoying because you see traces of your real family in
Yes,
there.
you do.
It's a little bit sad in places, but
It
then it's
is.
flipping funny because it's so honest. Ed and Eunice are like, some of the episodes of the family go all the way back to when they're dating, Ed and Eunice, right?
Yes.
And you see
Yes.
Harvey with like a Letterman's jacket and a little like pompadour. It's just
Yes.
hysterical. But the episode again is at Mickey Hart's like little one room. apartment building. And Mother Harper is, and I say Mother Harper because Mickey sees her and he always says, "Hello, Mother
Like,
Harper."
yeah,
And she's not the least bit deaf,
no,
but he always says that to her. And Eunice can't stand him. She thinks he's an idiot.
no.
But Mother Harper gets stuck in his apartment is so Spartan. He has like a deck chair. And Mother
Mhm.
Harper gets stuck in it and they have to like dump her. He's like, just dump her, dump her. And they like push her arm and
Oh,
she
yeah,
comes out. But I it's an endearing sketch. It's a little
it
bit sad in
is.
a way, right? Ed has to
Yeah,
kind of stick up for him because he likes him so
and he
much.
serves Chinese food to them in the
He
cartons.
serves Chinese food. Yes, he sure does. And I just that particular episode, but there's so many great moments in the
Yes,
family sketches and so many amazing, this needs to be said about Carol's show. So many amazing top-notch guest stars. And a
yes.
lot of them are filtered into the family
A
sketches
lot of them
as
are brothers.
relatives. Right. A lot of them
Alan
are
Alda's a
relatives.
brother. Roddy
Yep.
McDowell's a brother.
Dick, Dick Van
Tommy
Dyke.
Smothers was a
Yes.
brother.
Yes. Some of you at home might have to look him up. The
Yes,
Smothers brothers, Dick and
yes.
Tommy Smothers, had their own show. But yes, and then Dick Van Dyke was a brother, right? Or was he
Dick
just
Van
in that?
Dyke came later, and it was because Harvey left the show. They
Hmm.
wrote that into the story where he left her. Ed
Okay.
left her, and Dick Van Dyke moves in as a boarder, and he's sort of a
Oh,
gadabout,
oh, got
and
it.
and
Got it.
he
Okay.
she begins to sort of like him, and that's the whole
Yeah.
situation there.
Okay. Got
So
it.
they had to bring him in as the new guy, but
The
because
foil, yeah, or a little
yeah,
bit. Yeah. Um,
yeah,
and then of course Betty White is the snobby sister.
yes,
Yeah. So, well, what an amazing sketch. And like I said, there's little familiar parts that would be familiar to everyone, I think, but especially that kind of mother-daughter kind of they love each other, but they're little rub each other the wrong way. But Thelma Harper, she is not to be fooled with. She is just
no,
something else.
no. And this was the family episodes were my number two.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I loved about that, and I felt this even at a young age when I originally watched it, that there was a level of sadness and serious behind there. And the character of Eunice, who was played by Carol Burnett, was a very common person in our world, a person who didn't live up to what she wanted to live up to. She wanted to be famous. She wanted to be a singer, all those things. And she was never able to achieve that. And she blamed everyone but herself. She
True.
blamed Mama. She blamed Ed. She blamed
Ellen, the sister.
Ellen. Yes. And she plays it in such a way that she's very funny, but deep down you could feel the pain that she had about her life and like,
Yeah.
oh, what have I gotten myself into? Even her two sons, Bubba, and what was the
I
other one?
can't think of the other one's name. We need to look that up. But
Yeah,
we ever see the other either of
you
them?
never. I mean, you see Bubba when it moves to Mama's family,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
not
Weak.
right.
Yeah. But
Uh,
I always, and I don't think any of our family would mind me saying this, but our grandma was very hard on our mom. And you saw that, I saw that in
yes,
Eunice and Mama. You
like
could
a
tell.
love-hate relationship. And
Hmm.
Eunice's guilt when she doesn't treat
Measure up.
Mama the way
Yeah,
she thinks she's
right.
supposed to. There's an
Yeah.
episode where Mama falls down the stairs,
Hmm.
breaks her leg or breaks her ankle or something. And so Mama is staying with them at that time. And poor Ed has to run all over the place for her and everything. But, you know, Mama will blame the fact that she had to go upstairs and wash Eunice's tub because
It's
she
so filthy, I'm sorry.
was a terrible
Yeah.
housekeeper. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Oh my
there's
gosh.
just so many great episodes of that. I just, the elephant story too. Like that's the one with the big
Explain
blooper.
that one to the folks at home.
Well, they're playing, I believe, Password is
Something
what
like
they're
that.
playing,
Yeah, they're guessing.
and
Yeah.
and Vicky is trying to get Tim to or the group to guess the word, and this
Hmm.
is when Dick Van Dyke has replaced Harvey Korman.
Hmm.
So it's
Impossible, by the way. I love
I know you love Dick Van Dyke, but
I
this
do, but not in this
Harvey
scenario.
was
Yeah,
impossible to replace.
right.
So it was Tim Conway playing Mickey, and then Carol and Vicky and Dick Van Dyke. And they're playing password. And so Vicky's supposed to be giving the word. And as Vicky Lawrence tells it, is it Vicky Lawrence? Yeah.
Vicki Lawrence, yeah, you were right.
All of a sudden I
Don't overthink it, girl. It's Vicki Lawrence. You know it.
As she tells it in interviews that I've seen, Carol had sat them down at the beginning of the taping and said, look, I take these characters very seriously, and this type sketch is one of the most important to me. And I don't want us to break up. I don't want to break that fourth wall, which, if you don't know what that means, that's like, you break your character.
Which Harvey and Tim did all the time because they were always cracking each other up. But yeah.
He didn't want that to happen in this particular sketch. So poor Vicky is trying to not laugh because Tim was known for doing it correctly in the run through. But then when it was being live, he would decide to throw a curveball, which he did in this case. And he started to tell this story about two Siamese elephants that were joined at the trunk. And, I won't go into the whole routine. I encourage you to go look for it. You can find it on YouTube. You can find the actual blooper. But Vicky, who never broke character, was trying very hard to keep it straight. Meanwhile, Dick Van Dyke's laying on the floor laughing, and Carol is like down like this,
trying to hide her face.
And even Tim is laughing at himself, which he almost never does.
Yeah.
So it goes on for a little bit, and so Carol tries to get it back in, and she's like, "Go ahead, Mama," and she's handing her and children don't listen, but Vicky says, "Are you sure that little asshole's through?"
Yes. Weird Tim, again, I guess this is a little bit giving it away, but he tells a long story with the two Siamese elephants connect. And you can already see, Dick's falling out. Carol's like, oh gosh. Yes. And then he makes a sound like stir fork. And that's what does Vicky and everybody. Yes. And Dick Van Dyke falls on the ground. But that's Tim, yeah. Yes. I think that's how he would always get Harvey. They would have rehearsed it a certain way. It seemed like they were going to get through it and then forget it.
I know. And like I said, that like they had so many guest stars, and whenever they'd have a brother come on, the brother would be like, "Well, I got to get out of here," like
yes,
he'll be thinking, "Now I know why I left town."
Yes, exactly. But, and Eunice is always a little bit resentful that they get to go and they have a big life outside of town. Yeah.
And the brothers all seem to have made something of themselves.
Yes, that's right.
Of course, the sister, Betty White, she thinks she has, but it's just because she married
a rich guy. But she's very snobby. Yes.
Guys to go watch those. You can get them all on YouTube, I think.
Yeah, you sure can. And I know Amazon shows some of the seasons on there as well. You can watch it. I thought it was so cute. The first season, again, I'm not big on. I should be because I was raised in a era of the variety show, but I want to see the comedy. I don't really want to see Petula Clark sing downtown, but I mean, not that she's not great, but it kind of to me breaks up the. So the first season is a little tough, but I do love that Carol and Vicky have that Rosemary's Baby Vidal Sassoon cut. And in the credits, it actually credits Vidal Sassoon. It's a snappy little pixie cut. Yes. And they both have it. And side note, Vicky actually won a Carol Burnett lookalike contest. That's one of the ways she got connected with Carol as a very young woman. So that's kind of cool.
And in the first couple seasons, one of their repeating skits was called Carol and Sis.
That's on my list. That's my number 4.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, let's wait and talk about it then.
No, it really is just, I was going to say what I love about it is in real life, Carol raised her sis, right?
Yes, she did.
Took care of her sis. So it's got Carol being Carol pretty much, and Vicky's Christine, who I think might be her sister's real name.
It might be, yeah.
And then Harvey's Roger, who's just putting up with these.
Yes.
And it's mostly about Christine coming of age And I know there were just a lot of great things. Like I think Don Rickles was a painter one time. There was like a lot of different things happening, but I love Carol and Sis mostly for how much they drive Roger crazy, which
Yes,
Harvey's so good at. But sorry, say
he
your
is so
Carol and
great.
Sis. That was
No, you're
definitely
right.
from the beginning.
And that's kind of how, Vicky, she developed that because Vicky looked so much like her
Yes,
that she's like,
yes,
well, this would be the perfect thing to do because she actually looks like my sister. So,
yeah,
but
yes. But I
I have
love
to
Carol too.
say another odd thing, and this has to do with it being, in the 60s, 70s, but also being live because so few things are actually live anymore.
It's true. It's
If
true.
you notice, like one of the episodes I watched, it was, I believe, Bernadette Peters,
He's so talented. Oh my
who
gosh.
does mostly Broadway. Very, very good vocalist. But she's singing and dancing a little bit, but she's very sweaty. And like, that's just not something you would see, or their nose is shiny, or,
Yeah, yeah,
like, I'm sure the studio lights are very hot, but
yeah.
nowadays that wouldn't be happening. You'd be stopping and patting and, I just think that's like an interesting thing, how more real things were then.
I think, yeah, we've said that before, and that you could look like how you look. I mean, did
Yes,
people augment a little bit with hair color and makeup? But at the same time, you could be Cher and be beautiful. You could be Carol and wear a Bob Mackie gown and you
right,
don't look
right.
like Farrah Fawcett, but you're still, you're pretty and
That,
attractive and
that,
different, whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, I think
Because
it's
now you'd have to be beautiful to have a variety show or something.
right, right.
It's kind of an
Well,
interesting thing.
Well, I like that you said that. That's actually one of my, this is a side note. I just went down a side road here. But I love the beginning since it is live where Carol would turn up the house lights and take
Mhm.
questions from people. And
That's one of the best parts of the show. I
I
think
love it.
it really endeared her to all the audiences, and there was always a lot of laughs in it, and she was so quick-witted with responses
Oh,
that would be funny.
and it would be so funny because someone would be in the audience that she went to high school with.
Yeah,
Or there was like Elizabeth Montgomery from Bewitched
yeah,
who stopped
yeah.
in to watch the show. She wasn't looking for any accolades, and Carol's like, Liz, is that you? And she's like, or like Harvey would come up from the back, like, I have a question, it's just so funny and fun.
There was a
And
really funny one. I don't know if you saw it, but the lady asked a question and she said, I have kind of a weird question. Is that lady over there B. Arthur from Maud? Did you see this
yes,
one?
and it's not her, but she looks so much like her.
And then she says, but I can sing like her or something. And Carol invites her up to
And
sing. Do
she
you
kind
remember
of
that?
takes over the show.
Yeah. She
Yeah,
actually was a pretty good
she
singer. It
was
was kind
good.
of
She was a
funny, but
character. What a
yes.
character that lady. Yes. Oh my gosh, I love
But it
it.
was
And
those unexpected things that made it so amazing.
a lot of the women wanted to know about Lyle Wagner because he's so
Yeah.
handsome. But he's a
They
guy
wanted
that's
to kiss
married.
him.
Yes, he was married to the same woman, like I think his whole adult life. And so they were like, well, so and so won't mind. And they always wanted to kiss Lyle on the cheek. And
Yes.
Carol would have to call him from the back. But you guys remember Lyle Wagner from Wonder Woman. But yeah,
Yes.
just a handsome guy. But all the ladies would be like, it's Lyle. What about Lyle? But I love those. And they always ask for Carol's Tarzan yell. And that
Yes.
sounds so random to you, those of you who are watching that are like, what is this show? But she would literally be like, oh, yeah, she would do like a bit, right? She would
And
do an
when you try
actual
to do it, you
Tarzan yell.
realize how hard it really
It's
is to do.
very
Like,
hard. Yes. Johnny
and the funniest
Weissmiller.
times would be when she couldn't do it. Like her
Yeah,
voice would
she's
go
like,
funny.
and try again. Yeah. Yeah. But it was made famous by the actor Johnny Weissmiller, and he could do a darn good Tarzan yell. He
Yes.
played Tarzan in the movies, and Carol could do it like big time. And
Yes.
people would often ask for that Tarzan yell. I remember that. And
Always.
I was so little, I'd always be like, I hope they ask for the Tarzan yell. But anyway, yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh, I love it. So I think my Carolyn sis just went by. So I think you're up next. But I
Am
love
I
the
at like number 4, I think?
yes. Tell me what your number four is.
My number 4 was Norma Desmond, or Nora Desmond, as
Nora
I
Desmond.
called
That's
her.
right. That's right.
So, if anybody doesn't know who Norma Desmond was, there was a movie in the 1950s, I think,
Yeah.
um,
50s.
called Sunset Boulevard, and it had the amazingly gorgeous William Holden in it. But the woman in it was Gloria Swanson, who had been a silent film actress. And that's kind of what it's about.
It
That,
is what it's
you
about.
know,
Mhm.
without going into too much detail, William Holden happens upon this house of this old screen actress, and she takes him in because she wants him to rewrite a script for her or something, and she falls in love with him, and it's a very complicated but
It's
very
dark. It's dark. It's
very
a little
interesting.
creepy. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Uh-huh.
And so she, if you know Gloria Swanson in this, she's very, I'm ready for my close up, like she's very. So Carol Burnett, of course, was going to do a spoof of her. She would have to. And she called herself Nora Desmond. And poor Nora, Carol's version, had gone a lot more downhill than
She
Norman.
did. Her boobs especially went down.
I found out in an interview with her that was actually rice.
Oh, that makes
They had
sense. Like,
stuffed
yeah,
rice
dry
up
rice.
move.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Well, the premise of Sunset Boulevard, and you had it just right. Once the talkies came, she became obsolete because
Yes.
she was used to that over the top emoting. And what does she say? All the beautiful people out there in the dark or whatever. She's very over the
Yes.
top. And
Yes.
then her manservant, for lack of a better word, Matt,
Yes.
was her director back in the day. And
You
he's just
find that
so,
out later on in the
yes,
movie.
he's
Like,
so over, spoiler alert, sorry, in
yeah,
retrospect. But he's so obsessed with her still that he's gone from being her director to being essentially her manservant. And
yes,
Harvey does such a good job being
he
that.
does.
And he's like, yes, madam. He does it like in his very specific way. But
And the
yeah,
very purposefully bad, like, bald cap that
yes,
he
they do
has
both
on,
cap
it's like
on
the
his
hair out
top.
of the back.
And she does everything with her eyes wide
Yes,
open.
Max.
They're like very open. And her lashes are kind of like her false
Yes,
lashes are
yes, some are
tilting.
like down, but
Oh,
the boobs are the funniest
oh my
part.
gosh.
But
Brilliant.
so well.
Brilliant.
She does it so well. Like,
So
it's
fun.
the perfect spoof of it for sure. And I would always look
Oh,
forward to those when I would see that opening scene of that living room with the staircase coming down. I was like,
yes, you
yes.
knew. Yes, they brought her back as a reoccurring character on the show. I love it. I love it. Yes, yes, and more yes. Um, okay, I'm sorry. Forgive me, you guys. I'm looking at my notes because there was so much I could
I
barely
had
keep
to have
straight.
notes too.
Okay. I'm going off a little bit here from our plan, but
Okay.
I have this memory as a little kid of Carol and Harvey in this one sketch. It's not a reoccurring sketch, but they go to an orphanage to adopt a son. And so Vicki Lawrence is the lady that runs the orphanage, and she brings out these four cute little guys, little mop of hair. And
Yeah.
then Tim comes out.
Oh
So
no.
there's four little boys and Tim. And she starts naming their names. And Tim apparently has been in the orphanage for 35 years because he's 35 and the other boys are 8. And so they're each telling a little like twinkle, twinkle, little star. How I wonder. And Tim's like, he's a bedwetter, by the way. And then in between, he gets in little slap fights with the little boys. But he's lobbying for Carol and Harvey to adopt him, and it kills you. Carol's
Oh,
even trying not to laugh, and Harvey's just dying. And Tim
I'm
can do that
sure.
thing where he like puts his chin on Harvey's shoulder, and just those little comedic things. And after the slap fight with the boys, Vicky took them all away so the two of them can think. And she's like, we got to adopt him. He's been here 35 years. What will it do to him? Please. And Harvey says, you saw that fight. I was hoping for a more athletic son. Tim does a somersault in from off screen and busts the coffee table. But either way, it's just the sketch. It's just so classic.
That's so funny because I don't remember this one. Now I have
Oh,
to go watch it.
I remembered it and then went looking for it because I was like, did I imagine it? And no, he does this. Like, I was hoping for a more athletic son, and this 35-year-old guy somersaults in. And they take him, and spoiler, turn off right now if you don't want to know. But they say, we agree to Tim. And Vicky says, oh, he's a great guy. He just needed a chance. And he's like, okay, let me just get something before I go. And he opens the back door and he says, come on, he's a wife and kids that have been living at the orphanage too. So
So
anyway, I
funny.
love it. It's not a specific sketch. Well, it's one specific sketch, but that one stood out for me. I love it.
Excited for it because it's one that I don't recall. So
You
I'm going to
might,
go.
when you see it, you're going to crack up. You're going to be like, okay. Oh, so I went a
Well,
little off there.
that no, this is what this should be, just about sketches that we liked so
I
much.
know. I know.
So my number 3 is Tudball and Wiggins.
Oh, Mrs. Wiggins. Yeah.
Mrs. Wiggins, yes, and Mr. Tudball. This
Hmm.
always cracked me up. And
Yeah.
for once, Tim is sort of the straight guy, and
Mhm.
Carol is the funny one.
Yeah.
Now, Tim, of course, drops some very funny lines constantly, but he is the one who's having to deal with the nutty person, and it's normally the
Right.
reverse. And
Right.
Carol is playing his secretary, who
Yeah.
actually is not a lot up here, but she has more than you think, but she just seems very not so smart. And
And
her
she's always
walk,
filing her nails. And she wears a skirt that's so tight that she walks a certain
yeah,
way.
it
Yeah.
kind of has a bubble butt from it.
Yeah.
And yeah, she walks real slow and walks into his office and sits down, and he'll make some funny comment. And
Hmm.
there's one
But not racy. Like
no,
that's the interesting thing about the Mr. Tudball thing. They didn't go with the dumb blonde that the boss, chases around the desk. Mr. Tudball is a married man. You can
yes,
glean from
yes,
the episodes. He's got an accent. I don't know where he's supposed to be from. And he has a very bad toupee and a
yeah,
little mustache. And he's always trying to get work out of Mrs. Wiggins. And it just is not always working. But he has a funny little accent, right? And her
yes.
name's Mrs. Wiggins, but he says Mrs.
Mrs.
Wiggins.
Wiggins,
Yeah,
Mrs.
Mrs.
Yeah,
Wiggins.
one of my favorite ones is when he gets a new intercom system.
Yes. Oh man. Oh my gosh.
So he'll like say, Mrs. Wiggins, and like she'll keep pressing the button before he's done talking. And he'll walk out there and he'll say, now don't you press that button until I
Yeah.
tell you.
Pressing that button no more. Yeah. Oh my gosh. There
That's
was
just a great one. I couldn't think of a bunch of examples, but you got to go watch that.
watching Tim be the one that gets frustrated is
Yes,
funny. It's very
absolutely.
funny. He can do everything though. He really can. But Mrs. Wiggins, I was watching one just to like refresh my memory, and it was funny. There was one where it was the holidays at the office, and Mrs. Wiggins, she hangs mistletoe. And so Mr. Tudball feels obligated. She feels obligated. Sorry, not very PC to say nowadays, but she holds her nose and offers her cheek, and he holds his nose because he feels like he has to give her a little smooch on the cheek under it. But it's just so funny because they're both
It's
so
funny.
they respect each other, but not, they drive
Yeah,
each other crazy. But it was so cute. I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah,
I
Mrs.
love that.
Wiggins. Oh
That's
man,
a good one.
I love it. Well, my number 3 again is just a random sketch, but for those of you who are not 70s kids, I want you to go and look her up because she still looks exactly the same, but her name is Charo. Mrs.
Oh, yes.
Charo Charo. And she is a performer. She's a Latina performer. She's known for coochie coochie. She has this like hips. She can play guitar. She's very talented, but she has a very specific act.
Yes.
And Carol played Charo's mom. And so much like Norma Desmond, she's the version of Charo with the big hair like Charo has and the hot pants, but everything's gone a little south. And an interviewer is coming to interview Charo, and her mom steps in, and it is the funniest scene. When she comes out in the Charo outfit, again, she makes Tim almost break character. It's like the big scene of her. And oh my gosh, it's so funny. It's
Yeah, the very first time that Charo sees Carol as her mother, they were trying not to show her face close up, but you can see she's like,
yeah. Yes.
she's like,
Yeah.
she didn't know what to do. So funny. And when they would argue, it would be like, I know Like, and then
Yes, and they would get more and more because they had the big hair is going and everything. And
yes,
Charo has just a very specific act. She purposefully goes over the top. She
yes,
talks louder, her hair is moving, her body's moving all the way to the bank. And
yes,
but the thing to know about Charo is she is very talented on the guitar and quite a singer, but she plays
yes.
the character. Like, and when we were kids, she guest starred on everything.
Did a
Was
million
on the
love
Love
notes.
Boat. Yes. She was on everything and always playing. On the Love Boat, she had a reoccurring character called
Did
April, but she
April.
always played Charo.
Yes,
It was
yes.
just
That
a
was her
character she cultivated. Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
worked. It definitely worked for her. And oh
But
my
Carol
goodness,
playing her
Tara
mom,
that ran with it.
she did
So
run with it.
and
I
I think
love her.
Tara was on the show a couple of times, and I think they
Many
would
times.
do that each time.
Yes.
So it became
Yes.
a little bit of a recurring, but
Yeah. Yeah. But so,
obviously only
so
when
funny.
Charo was there. But
Yes, yes. They didn't try to go fly solo without her, no. But that's one of my childhood memories of Carol
I
walking against
love,
Clara.
love, love that you brought that one up because I thought of that too. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, there's just so many. Like that's why I encourage everybody, please go watch. And you mentioned it, but on Amazon, they have a channel called On Now.
Oh,
And if
yeah.
you scroll down through that, Carol Burnett actually has its own channel. So
Yes.
you can catch it at any time of day. Now I don't know what episode you're going to get. They don't do them in order, which is kind of fun.
Well, that's what we were saying the other day. That's the cool thing about On Now. It feels like old TV where you tuned
Yes,
in for reruns and didn't know what the programming was going to be. And it's more fun
yes,
that way. They're not
yes.
necessarily in order. Yeah, I love it. That's me, Charo. Charo's mom.
So was the family episodes
Yeah.
again. I did just want to, one of my favorites is where they play the game of sorry. Do you remember that one?
Oh, and Ed is trying to explain it. Is that the, yeah, they have the dice in the cup. Is that sorry?
Carol is getting mad at them because she
Hmm.
has to explain it to mama.
That's
And
it.
like doing, she's trying to be all happy about it because she's excited to play. And she's like, instructing. And every time it would be poor mama's turn, Carol would be counting for, and she's like, I can count my own, like.
Yeah. Yes. Oh my
And
gosh.
then, of course, what always happens to Eunice is that Ed and Mama are both beating her. So then
Yeah.
she gets really mad. It's just a very
And
funny.
there's always a few beers involved,
Oh
usually.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
There's always a few beers
all
involved.
of them.
Mama too. Yeah.
Oh
Mama as
yes,
well.
and
Yep.
that is the fun part. They play a lot of the games. There's a charades one as well.
Oh,
With
for sure.
is that with Mickey Hart? I think it
Yeah. Mickey
is.
Hart is there for the charades one. Yeah,
Yeah,
for
because
sure.
they get real mad because the book that they do is like supplemental hardware guide or something.
Yes, that's right. He and Ed are partners. Yes, they say book, and it is like the supplement, right? It was something. Oh my God, I forgot about that. Yeah, it wasn't well known, that's for sure. It wasn't War and Peace. Oh my gosh. Oh, love
So
it.
what was your number
Well, my
two?
number two was Rebecca. So we're
Oh,
all covered on that, but just the little plot points, so if you watch Rebecca, as we said before, Mr. De Winter, who is Laurence Olivier, he's lost his wife, he's wealthy and mysterious, and he somehow takes up with Joan Fontaine's character, who is a bit of a shrinking violet, and man, Carol plays her. I mean, she puts thick glasses on. She walks kind of schlumpy, and she's like, oh my gosh. But the funniest part is you see Carol in these thick glasses, and there's a part where Harvey, trying to be Laurence Olivier, says, maybe if you take off those glasses, and they take off the glasses, and she has another pair underneath. It's like that's just who she
yeah.
is. And there's just little silly things like that. And
Oh,
Harvey, like every time his dead wife's name is mentioned, he and
yeah.
runs to the other room. And there's one where he comes out, it's like, oh, sorry, that was the closet. And then he takes off again, he goes off. There's just this this hysterical over the top drama that is just played to a T. So Rebecca's one I definitely remember from being a kid. I was like hysterical.
One of my faves for
And you
sure.
know I'm a Hitchcock
I
fan,
did.
so that one got me.
I know you'll like this one because she also did Mildred Fierce. Do you
Yes.
remember
Yes.
after the movie Mildred
Yes.
Fierce with Joan
Yes.
Crawford? That
Oh,
was so
and
funny.
Joan's a funny, Joan is an over the top gal to start with. So much like Gloria
Yes,
Swanson, it's fun to recreate her parts for sure. But yeah,
yes,
is it
yes.
called the old movie or the late show or
They
both?
definitely did both of those.
Yes, but they
And
added
then
the
there was
extra.
also one where Harvey or Lyle is sitting in a big chair, and it was a show at the time, and I can't remember what it was, but where he would sit in the chair and introduce the movie that
Yes,
was coming, and
yes.
I can't remember what the real thing was
I
because the
don't.
Late Show was definitely a real thing too. But anyway,
Right. Anyway, those were the
they did it
best.
a couple different ways, but
I have a feeling our number one is going to be the same. Are we? You're on one or two?
I'm on one.
Okay, I think it's going to be the same. But go ahead.
So I have to do every single thing that Tim and Harvey ever did together. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to have to control myself on this one and not try to say everything. But I got to start off with what I believe was their first one together. And that is when Tim is playing a dentist and Harvey has.
That's their first one. That is
It's,
hysterical.
I think it's their first one because if you notice how young Tim looks in
He's
it,
very young.
I
Yeah.
think it might be the first one. And it is, of course, very slapstick, bumbling Tim as the dentist. And he keeps accidentally injecting himself with the Novocaine. So then he'll lose an arm. And I mean, it
Yeah.
just goes on. And then he injects his head. And Harvey just loses it because he
And
knows.
Harvey doesn't have much to say because he has a little air thing in
Yeah,
his mouth and he's supposed to, and he's just like dying with his lips shut,
is
like
just
cracking up.
absolutely dying. And Tim is so brilliant in it. Yeah, Harvey doesn't even need to do anything. But the laughter that he does makes it even better. Like, that's what people don't realize. They think Harvey was breaking character or, messing up, but
That's what we
that's what
love.
made it all so much better.
That's what we tuned in for. It was real. It was
Yes.
real. Yeah. There's a I don't know what year it is, and I'm sorry, I don't know if it's an Emmy or a Golden Globe, but Harvey is up for it and he wins. And he goes up and Tim goes up with him, even though
Yes.
he didn't win. And
Yes.
Tim has his chin on Harvey's shoulder the whole time and he's looking up. And Harvey's trying to get everybody's dying laughing.
Yeah.
Harvey's trying to give a real speech, and at the end, and he said, and I'm blessed to work with idiots like this every day, or whatever. It was so cute. But I was
It's
like,
funny.
that says it all.
That's so Tim too, to
Yeah,
just
yeah,
surprise. You could tell he
yeah.
was kind of taken by surprise in that, I
Hmm.
think.
Hmm. So good to work with idiots like this. And he said it with love, of course, but oh my gosh, I love that.
One of my favorite skits. Now, I know you didn't like this guy as much, but when Tim played the old man, those are the ones when Harvey, I think, broke up the most. My favorite one is when he's the fireman and Harvey's house is on fire.
Oh,
And
yes,
Tim
yes.
comes up this ladder that turns out to be very short, and he's taking his axe and he's breaking all the windows. So, of course, the first thing he does to break Harvey up is he has to break every single window.
Every pain. Yes, yes,
And
yes.
so he comes in and like they're looking for the fire and they open the door and all this smoke, Harvey breathes in and he's like, I need CPR. I need cardiopulmonary resuscitation. And so Tim's like, okay, just a minute. And he gets out his manual to try to figure that out. So Harvey's like, help me, help me. So Tim gets down and Harvey knows right away that it's going to be
It's
funny.
gonna be funny.
And
Yeah.
he puts his arm under him like that, and he like strokes his face a little bit. He's like, "Tell me a little bit about yourself."
Well, the thing to note is that when Tim plays the old man, I think he's literally just called the old man. He
Yes,
shuffles real
shuffle.
slow to do everything. So
Yeah,
him climbing a ladder or doing anything, you can
yes.
imagine even
Take
swinging the axe is
forever.
like,
Yeah,
yes, that is part of
yes.
the charm of it. Yes, for
And
sure.
he always used to do this funny thing with his voice that I used to
Yeah.
like to imitate. He'd be like, you know, I'm coming. I'll be there in just a
Yes.
minute.
Yes, there's that pregnant pause where he's like,
Yeah.
minute. Yeah, yes, exactly, exactly. Oh
Those
my
jokes
gosh.
used to always crack me up
Those
so
are good. And
much.
they always have Harvey as the foil. There was
Yeah.
one that I watched recently where Tim like worked, he played the old man and he worked at like a watch shop or something. And so
Yes.
Harvey's trying to get the watch fixed and Tim throws out, and they say this now was part of the blue, him trying to get Harvey to laugh, but he throws out the different kind of clocks he has. And he says, and I have one with a koala. And the word koala kills Harvey.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
it's
how
just
about when
so,
he tells how his eyes tell what time it
yeah,
is?
yes,
What is it,
yes.
2:45? And he's
Yeah,
like,
he's like crosses. Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh. Oh my
another
gosh.
really funny one that's not with the old guy, but Tim and Harvey are both so good in this, but they had sort of decided prior to the beginning of it that they were going to try to make Lyle Wagner laugh because he never laughed. They could never get him to laugh. And they were playing two like World War II German officers. And Harvey was doing the fake German thing so well. And then Tim comes in, who's going to interrogate Lyle. And so he's like being hilarious, of course. And Lyle's not cracking up or anything. And then he says, I'm going to have to get the Fuhrer out to talk to you. And he reaches in his pocket and he pulls out this little puppet of who the Fuhrer was.
Yeah, we
And
got to.
and when Lyle sees that, he's like trying so hard not to laugh. And then when Tim starts using the puppet to talk, and then he says, I see I'm going to have to be a little bit harder on you. And he reaches in his pocket again and he pulls out a pencil and he says, I'm going to have to hit you with this club. And then Lyle just,
Oh,
yeah.
well,
It's
the thing to know about Lyle Wagner is he is very much more, he has an announcer voice. He's very handsome. You could picture him announcing like sports or announcing the news,
yeah,
which is what they used him a lot for on the Carol
yeah.
thing.
I
What
think
was
that's
he?
what he started out doing, being
Yeah.
just the announcer, didn't he?
Yeah, he must have with that voice. And then
Yeah,
later, like I said, you see him on Wonder Woman playing Major Steve Trevor, but really he has that very specific voice and just very handsome guy, very
very.
handsome. He would pop up in skits where they needed a kind of Rock Hudson, handsome
Yes.
guy for the, Carol to date for that 2 seconds of the script.
I
Um,
can remember a scene with him, like I guess it was like a spoof of the Johnny Carson show or something, and he was playing Mark Spitz, who won an
this,
Olympic
yeah.
gold medal at the time for swimming, but he came in the little the little speedo and he had the gold medals, and I think all of the women were like, "Ooh!"
He's a handsome guy. I'm a Harvey girl from the jump, but
Me
that's just me.
too. Me
I
too.
love Harvey. Oh gosh.
And Harvey isn't just known for the Carol Burnett Show. He was in a lot of Mel Brooks movies. Mel
Yes, I was
Brooks
gonna
really liked
say,
him.
don't
Yeah.
get saucy with me, Bernays. He says.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, he
One
says.
of the most surprised small parts that I saw Harvey in, I was shocked to see him. I was like, oh my God, that's Harvey Korman. He was in the movie Gypsy,
Really?
the musical Gypsy. They made a movie out of it about Gypsy Rose Lee.
Sure.
And he was a reporter that came in to
Okay.
interview her. I was like, what
Okay.
a weird role for Harvey, but okay.
Interesting. Interesting. It's a
Yeah.
multi
Yeah,
talented
for
guy though.
sure. There was another really funny episode. I don't know if you remember this. Do you remember the movie Born Free?
Yes. Yes.
It was a very popular movie
It
about
sure
people
was.
that were like in Africa and they were like raising a lion, like as a
Yeah,
team.
rescuing and raising a lion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Well, they did a spoof on Born Free. And I guess you can guess who played the lion.
Yes.
Tim, of course.
Yes.
And
Yes.
when he first walks out in this
Oh
lion
God.
outfit, Harvey and Carol cannot contain themselves. And so they're telling him he has to be released to the wild now because it's what's best for him. So he's like, all right. And he goes and comes out in a coat and a top hat.
Yes.
He goes in, he has his suitcase with him. And then he
Oh
goes
my
in
God.
and you hear him flush the toilet. It's dying, dying. It's so funny. It's a very funny scene.
Oh my gosh.
I
Yeah,
mean, together they were magic.
they really were. They really were. Oh my gosh. And you see Vicky kind of come of age on the show. I don't
Yeah.
really know how old she was when she started, but she seems so young. I know she had a child in the time that she was the span of the
Yes.
Carol Burnett show. And by the time she plays, Mrs. Danvers, that kind of part, she knows her stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's good.
Yeah. Well,
But
and I think I said this once before when it was on our favorite TV show list that they did almost a full like Broadway show that was their ending thing that they did. They would
right.
sometimes it would be a movie spoof or a movie musical. Like a lot of times they would mock the Judy Garland, Mickey Rooney
Yes.
shows.
Yes.
Was that Andy Hardy? They were the
Andy
Andy Hardy.
Hardy, they did Babes in Toyland together. Those two
Yeah,
did a lot. Mickey Rooney and Judy Garland. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh
And
my.
that, I mean, Vicky was a big player in that because she and Carol could both sing, and they were a lot in that. Harvey sort of was a little bit more in the background, and Tim certainly was,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
whatever guest star they would have would
Would
usually
be a
be
singer generally. Yeah. Yes. They would have a singer and then pop her or him into skits
yes,
a lot. And that was fun. That was just part of the shtick of the show for
it
sure.
definitely was.
I remember Vicky in real life, she sang that song. That's the night that the lights went out in Georgia. Sorry, everybody, that was free. That's that little extra. But right, that was a Vicky
Yeah,
Lawrence song. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Real life,
That was
like
a
on the
very
chart.
unlikely hit, I feel like, but
Yeah, it was, but it was a bit of
70s
a hit. Yeah, that was a bit of a hit.
had some strange hits.
Yeah. I know. Yes. Are you
Well,
ready?
yes, what's
My
yours?
number one is As the Stomach Turns.
Of course.
It's a
That's
spoof.
why I didn't do it, because I knew
It's
you would.
It's a spoof on soap operas, as you guys can probably tell, as the title, As the World Turns. And I can't think of Carol's character, but it was always about her and her hapless thing that happens to her. And there is a scene where Harvey Korman plays Mother Marcus for the first time, and he is an older, a mother, real complaining kind of mother, and he's got the big chest, he's got a little gray bun, he's in a dress, the support hose, and the shoes. And Carol is seeing him for the first time in real time. And she opens the door, and he's there as Mother Marcus, and she shuts the door. And as we were saying to each other the other day, she opens it back up, and he's holding the fake boobs, and she's dying. Everybody's dying. We're dying
It,
at
it,
home, everybody in the audience, but Mother Marcus. That's just like such a standout moment. But that's
and keep
another.
in mind, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
I was just going to say, keep in mind, Harvey is what, like 6'2" or something like that. And I mean, the chest that they put on Mother Marcus was enormous. So you have this very large man with a very large chest. It just made it all the more funny.
And I just love that they kept the look on him a secret until Carol saw it in
Yes.
time. But
Yes.
but that was a show where they broke the fourth wall a lot. They would say, I think her name was like Marion. They'd be like, and Marion, and they do little spoofs like on commercials even. Marion hasn't had her third cup of coffee yet, and she looks at the camera. There's like little things, right? And all the stars that guest starred would definitely be on there. Diane Cannon was on. There's another very funny episode where Paul Lynde and Harvey play a pair of twin brothers who are coming by because they want to get their dad's inheritance or whatever from Diane Cannon, and they walk in sync, and they have these little, what is it called, a tam o'shanter? It's
Yes.
like that little plaid with the ball, and it is so funny. And Harvey even makes Paul Lynde smile, like he's doing a Paul Lynde impression to Paul Lynde.
Yes. Paul
So
Lynde is usually the over the top guy for
yes,
sure.
and Harvey did Paul Lynde in front of Paul Lynde, and it was so funny. He's another one in the 70s gang. Look him up if you don't know who he is. He
Yes.
witched, saw him on a lot of things. That Hollywood Squares.
Yes.
Paul
He was
Lynde
the
was
center
on there. He
square
was
for
the
most
center
of the time.
square.
Yeah.
But anyway, I loved As the Stomach Turns. And I remember Mom and Liz getting a huge kick out of that show for sure, or that installment.
Yes,
But
because
yeah,
they would play that certainly classic soap opera music in between
like
whenever something
schmaltzy
would
music.
happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yes, yes. And I think it's Marion, but she'd always look at the camera like, oh.
Yeah.
But Marion had many problems, as you can imagine.
And then the funny things would be like the doorbell's supposed to ring, but it won't ring,
It doesn't
like
quite
things
ring,
like
so
that
yeah.
would happen. She'd pick
Yes,
up the phone before it would ring.
yes, yes. Now, do you think those were intentional or no?
I kind of think maybe they were. I don't know
Yeah,
because it
I think
happened an
some,
awful
yeah,
lot.
yeah. Although I do remember an episode of I Love Lucy where the phone rings and I think Desi doesn't pick it up and she's like, the phone, dear. Do you remember that
Oh,
episode?
yes, I do.
And he's
I
like,
do.
oh, what's that trunk out for? Right?
Yeah,
But yeah, so live TV, you never know. But as the
exactly.
stomach turns, I love it.
Well, the funny full circle of that is Carol Burnett really liked soap operas. And the
She
one that
did.
I watched in particular, All My Children, was her favorite soap opera.
Mhm.
And she ended up playing a very funny character on that later, very much later on in the show. And it was so fun to see her on it. The character's
Was
name
it?
was Burla Grubbs.
Yes. And wasn't her grandma's favorite soap All My Children and they would watch it together or she would
Yes, I
come
think
back?
that's how it
Yeah.
started. Yeah.
Yeah.
But isn't
And
that
if you
how we all got addicted to soaps? What, that's what my mom had on when I came home from school. We only had one
oh
TV.
Oh my gosh. I remember coming home from elementary school at 3 something, and mom was either crying at a wedding, crying because someone died, or real chipper because the Bauer barbecue was taking place. She let
Yes,
Guiding Light.
yeah,
And
Bauer barbecue.
I remember coming in one time and she was so nervous and tears. And I was like, oh my God, what happened? And Ed Bauer had Roger Thorpe on the edge of a cliff. There was like Ed and Mike were battling Roger, and oh my God. But then
Oh,
I
great.
learned to like dig in, right? Then we came around the corner like, okay, how's Maureen? We're like,
Really
but
interesting is that she was fickle with her soap operas till
yeah,
she found Guiding Light. Because
yeah.
when I was young, she watched One Life to Live in General Hospital. And then
Really?
at some point switched to Guiding Light.
Oh, she
And Young
became,
and Restless. She
yes,
watched Young and Restless
yes.
too.
She watched that arc that was Young and the Restless, As the World Turns, and Guiding Light.
Yes.
Yes, yes,
But
yes.
she never watched All My Children, but she
No,
watched One Life to Live in General Hospital when I
I
was
know.
younger.
But
And
Guiding
another one
Light is
called
her
Love
jam.
of Life.
Love of life. And when I was very little, I can remember it was when I was in kindergarten because the Don Ho show, that's a story for another day. That
Uh,
would come on right before I left for afternoon kindergarten. She would watch Search for Tomorrow. It was just 30 minutes, I believe.
yeah, they
She
were
watched
30
Search for
minutes back then.
Tomorrow.
Mhm.
hmm So any of us, that's
We'll
why I
have to
think
do
we do.
soap operas at some point,
Oh,
folks.
that's coming. We're gonna have a whole guiding light for mom's sake, for sure.
I know.
But Carol Burnett, I have such an affinity for also because she loves Cher so much and Cher loves her, and they would come across shows sometimes, and I just love that whole time frame. And again, because it was Mom and Liz's jam, and it was such good times.
And for me, it was a time when we would go to our beach house, which wasn't much of
Yeah,
a beach house.
it's
So
on a
don't
creek,
think,
you guys.
yeah, yeah, but I loved it as a little kid. It was like a dream for a little kid, especially a
Yeah,
little tomboy like I was back
yeah. We
then.
had a little pier. You could swim in the creek. We had a boat. It
I
was
had
nice.
my own little rowboat
Oh
that
my gosh.
they
Oh,
got for me, and
yeah.
it was just a great place to be a kid for
I
sure.
learned to ride a bike there. I think we all did. Or
Yeah, I
maybe
mean,
not. You might have learned before that, but I definitely
yeah.
learned to ride a bike there for sure. Because it
And
had
I
that.
would ride far on my bike. Like it
Yeah.
was so safe there. I would go a long way on my bike and just
Yeah. It was rural. The roads were like, it was on
very,
a little inlet of the Chesapeake Bay. And
yeah.
the roads were dirt. Yeah. Yeah. It
And
was
my,
fun
my
though.
very fond Saturday night lineup where we would sit in front of this little black and white TV and watch, it was Mary Tyler Moore, Bob Newhart, Carol Burnett, and I think Mannix. I feel like that was the order. I could
That
be
could
wrong.
be. That could be. Someone out there knows.
Yeah,
Out there. Liz,
yeah.
if you're watching, you know. Liz sharp as a tack. She knows what's
She remembers a
that.
lot. She
Yeah.
really does.
Yeah. Those were good times.
Well,
Oh my
this
God.
was like so I treasure the memories of that show for
I feel
sure.
like we should do something, and I think we're going to lose viewers when we do, but I feel like we should close this up a certain way. So, if anybody knows Carol Burnett's backstory, she was raised by her grandma. So if you see Carol Burnett do this at the end of her show, she's saying, "I'll give a little shout out to her grandma." That's her cue. And she sings this song. We're going to do it. Are you ready?
Oh boy, here we go.
Let's do it. I'm
I'm
so
so
glad we
glad
had
we
this
had this
time,
time
time
together,
together just
just
to have a laugh and
and
sing a
sing
song.
along.
Though we just get
Got
started.
then
And before
before
you know it, comes the time we have to say so long. And then she said, "Good night, everybody." And
everybody.
it's your grandma. Sorry, you guys. We're not going to be cutting an album anytime soon. But if you know it just now, you're probably like,
all people who want to manage us, call us.
yes, yes, yeah. That was without rehearsal, too, just so you know. That
Indeed,
was
it
just
was.
raw talent right there.
Yeah,
But anyway, you guys, please subscribe. Walk down memory lane with us. Comment. Tell your favorite Carol memories. You have to have some. I know you do.
you have
It's Americana. It's part of how we all grew up. Simpler times, fun times, and talented times. Us aside, that's singing aside.
yes,
But right, talented times on TV. So, as my friend says, smash that subscribe button. It really does help us because we want to keep coming back and with more chit chat. We feel like you guys are sitting in on our reminiscing, and I love that. Tell your top 5 Carol memories and give us a little feedback. What do you want to see us talk about, hear us talk about? And please like, subscribe, tell a friend or two, and they tell 2 friends, and so on. That's a 70s commercial, right? And so on and so
and so
on.
what
Yeah,
was that?
yeah,
Herbal
it
shampoo, I
was.
think.
It's one of the shampoos, I feel like. But this was
I
so
also
much fun.
I also want to correct one thing that I've said about subscribing. I think I accidentally said you have to have a YouTube channel to subscribe, but you just have to have a YouTube account.
Account. Yeah,
I
you just go
I
on
don't know.
YouTube.
You might be able to subscribe without one, but to comment, I think you need one. But again, it doesn't cost anything. We don't know whether you've subscribed or not. If that's something that you worry about. I don't know. I might worry about something like that. I don't know. But
Not
um,
me. I'll be like, how about a shout out? Just kidding. I'll be like, when is that merch gonna drop? That's something suddenly came up merch. There,
coming.
there you go.
Never know. You
There you
never
go.
know.
Comment merch below.
If you have a desire to hear us sing again,
Yes,
let us know. But if you don't, let us know.
exactly.
We won't be offended.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was impromptu. Sorry, Groovy Granny, but it had to be done, right? You can't
You
can't
can't
wrap
end
up
any
Carol
other
without it. Yeah, you can't wrap Carol without it. Anyway, this was a blast as always. Love you, my dear sis. It was
You
great to
do.
walk down memory lane. And again, shout out to all our family and friends who were there watching Carol alongside us. And good times,
Definitely.
good times. All right, we'll see you guys next time on Something Suddenly Came Up, a retro review. Bye, everybody.
Everybody.